Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to a brand new Fig, Pix, and Chill with yours truly, Philly with Figurecraft. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to do a Spidey special edition. So, looking forward to that. And I have a true connoisseur about photography visitor. His name is Harold. And you might know him as Commander Green. Let's add him real quick. Harold,
Hey,
hey, buddy. How
hey,
are you,
man.
buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I know this is very impromptu because usually you're working, but you said you get off early, or you're off today.
Yeah, no, I was able to get done in time. Yeah, just and again, and I don't live around LA or a big city like that, but even in I live outside of Charlotte, and it's like, yeah, the traffic can get ugly at that rush hour.
No worries.
So,
Yeah,
yep.
I totally get it. But thanks for joining me. I understand Spider-Man is one of your favorite characters. We chose Spider-Man. We'll go into details on the setup, but today we're gonna do Spider-Man, and we're gonna work with the Hot Toys comic inspired Spider-Man that recently showed up the exclusive. And I'm
Cool.
looking forward to it because we're gonna do a kind of a panel homage to the comics. So looking forward to that. But before I start, I'm gonna go ahead and add my one of my buddies, Calvin, low key collector. Let's add him real quick. Welcome, buddy. How are you?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing well. How's
Very
Hey,
everybody
nice.
doing?
Calvin.
What's up, man?
Thanks for joining us, Calvin. You're a Spider-Man fan, right?
I am, and I feel like the older I get, the worse I'm into the lore because I think I have more Spider-Man than I do Iron Man at this point. They just keep coming.
Yeah, yeah. Spider-Man is kind of the new Iron Man. Iron Man, as you can see, it's kind of fading away and losing its popularity. So they're going with Spider-Man, and obviously, in the last couple of years, you've seen quite a few variations of Spider-Man with the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, the video games, and the movies. They have a lot to pull from. So anything, I know we have at least what 50 years of Spider-Man that we can choose from. Calvin, what's your ideal rendition of a Spider-Man, either from the comics, movies, TV show, cartoons, anything? What's your perfect Spider-Man to you?
I probably gotta go with Toby. I love that Toby
Toby?
suit from
Okay.
Spider-Man 2. That's probably my go-to right there.
That is the goat right there. We, as kind of our generation, grew up with those movies because, for years, and you two might agree with me. We were waiting for the James Cameron, Spider-Man, which that never
Hmm.
happened, and I was particularly excited for that one because they were in talks right after Titanic, and it kind of gave you this, like, wow, we're gonna do a Spider-Man movie and have a James Cameron treatment. That would have been awesome. Unfortunately, that it didn't happen, but we're very fortunate and very happy that we got the Sam Raimi version because that did an awesome job, particularly Spider-Man 2. So, Harold, what about you? What's your favorite Spider-Man rendition? And again, it can go from Steve Ditko to the animated version from the 1990s.
Actually, I would say probably the first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. That was probably one of my favorite, and it threw back more like to the TV show, and it was some of that, like the humor, kind of like when he's in the back seat of the car and he's like, like, oh, excuse me, sorry, didn't mean to do that, and it was just that weird sense of humor, and I think even that TV series had a little bit of that. I mean, obviously it was short run at that time, but I'm old enough to remember that, so
Yeah, the you're talking about the first Amazing Spider-Man, right, with Andrew Garfield.
yeah, that movie.
That
Yep.
that was shortly. I think that was shortly after came out after Batman Begins, and I know they're trying to go with a kind of realistic take on that. And I love the suit. I love what they did with it. Their inspiration was from ice skaters and athletes, and they're trying
Hmm.
to ground Spider-Man a little bit more than your typical. He just got made his sewed in his own costume. Kind of just like regular type of material, but they chose to be more of an athletic kind of person. And the grounded part too, when he started swinging and learning how to swing, I think that was really awesome. As opposed to, don't get me wrong, nothing against the goat Toby, but it was more grounded. He was in a, I think he was in a junkyard and he was trying to learn how to swing. As for Toby, if I had these weird powers, I wouldn't be jumping off of probably a 20-story building for the first time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was a little more realistic, more grounded, which I definitely enjoyed. I love part 2 as well. I mean, that is definitely good things, but the first one, particularly when the whole city kind of joined in to kind of help him, get to the lizard and help him while he was injured and shot. I think that was very inspiring. So definitely a good one. Thanks for sharing. For myself, I'm going to go with I love Toby. That's definitely a really great source of inspiration. But also, I love the comics. And right now, I'm going to tap into all the way back into Todd McFarlane comics. And just to share with you guys, I'll get some, a little information here. Let's see here. Share screen. Share screen. And we have a lot of stuff that we can pull from the comics. You have Steve Ditko. You have, let's see here, Todd McFarlane. Give me 1 second. There we go. So here we got some stuff here. Can you guys see it? Do you see the Spider-Man cover with Wolverine? So here we have, one of the. It's I think one of many famous covers, but I like the fact that with comics you can get away with a lot of stuff where in the movies you can't in real life. So kind of merging with that kind of in between the comics and real life, I kind of always try to push that to the limit. And here it's Todd McFarlane was well known. He came in right after I think Romita Jr. I think it was him prior before. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he was told, like everybody else, by Marvel, is to kind of draw your traditional Spider-Man and kind of mimic the previous artist. But Todd, being Todd, if you guys all know Todd, he's going to do his own thing, and he did. He did a few things that were different from the previous renditions. He made the suit more punchy. He made the webs smaller. He made the eyes wide, kind of like he said he was trying to mimic a spider. That's supposed to be more spider than human. So that goes into the anatomy. This is why he does these proportions where kind of, if Harold, would you ever try to do this pose right here?
Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, Maz has picked on me about that. I've showed him some of. He goes, "You're afraid to pose that, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, I am."
yeah, I know, but it's also not realistic, and it's like
right.
I think the more notorious one is Rob Liefeld, which I definitely love, but he's got a lot of stuff that proportions don't work. But these are comics, so comics. Yeah, it's a different dimension, and you can do whatever you want because it's all about the the imagination. And Todd definitely uses imagination here. I mean, look at this. I mean, I don't think Calvin can do this when he wakes up in the morning before he goes to work. This is very, very difficult.
If you guys saw me at the chiropractor I went to a few weeks ago, he basically had me in that position, got my whole back and my hips loosened up. I was like, God damn, okay. I didn't hold it, but he got it there quickly.
But I know, right? It's yeah. And basically, these proportions, like it's you made me lose my train of thought. I'm just thinking of you in that position right now.
I'm being serious. I had no inclination of what he was about to do. He's like, "Here, just put your knees to your chest," and put me out like butterfly. Me, it was like, wham! I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
And buy me dinner first. Come on, Jesus.
So anyways, yeah. What the proportions were one thing, the eyes were another thing, and then obviously the famous spaghetti webbing. That's where it came from. The webbing initially used to be just like lines on the comics, and kind of like like literally like a straight line with cross hatching in between. But Todd he created the spaghetti webbing, which happens to be really popular with the comic book artists nowadays too. So even in real life, you see a little bit reminiscent to the spaghetti webbing, which is it basically resembles spaghetti. So showing that, I kind of did this kind of artsy crafts type of thing where I got soldering wire, and I figured, what if I come up with my own spaghetti webbing and kind of make it practical? Because being practical is really important. So when it comes to photography, Photoshop is a great tool, but it only should help you to enhance your photography, not to take over. So practicality, kind of like in the movies, it's very important because it makes it look more realistic in a better dimension. But here, let me show you this video I did. This is literally like 20 minutes ago. So I grabbed this solder. Can you see it, Harold?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so I grabbed this soldering wire and I unraveled it. And as you unravel it, it's so soft that it creates this little loop in between, which is perfect for webbing. And what I did is I attached it to a screwdriver. And what I did is I used hot glue to apply it on the sides as it was spinning,
nice.
Creating this. If you can see right here, I'm going to fast forward it because it's really, it takes forever. But it simulates the webbing, the spaghetti webbing that Todd McFarlane was doing. As you spin it, it wraps around. As the soldering wire still holds in place, I think it ended up breaking towards the end, but I still have two pieces that can, work as spider webs. See how it's spinning and kind of wrapping the glue around?
That's cool.
So I came up with that, and I've been, a lot of people have been doing it, and they've been doing like the goo. I think my man Patrick from remind me, what's his photography? He's an awesome photographer. I'm drawing a blank right now. He did the goo from the symbiote Spider-Man and simulated kind of like that with thicker wire, and he did an amazing job. So forgive me, Patrick. I totally forgot about your Instagram, but I'll kind of leave a link in the bottom if anybody's interested to see his photography. Don't mind me in my pink slippers. I'm just, I was just preparing before that. But
the hot glue idea is cool because it throws back to, I remember it had to be probably 1979, 80, something like that, where it was like this Spider-Man set that was like just little solid plastic, single colored. I think the Goblin, like solid green, and little figures and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it had a can with like a glue. It wasn't like super tacky, but I'd have that stuff all over the place. I used to get yelled at so much for that.
Yeah, it's hilarious, but
it gives me a feel of that for sure.
And here's pretty much the product right here. As you can see, it dried up and it's pretty flexible. And nice. It'll do. I mean, it was my first attempt, but it'll do for spider webbings, particularly the spaghetti webbing for the figure. So I got this going on. I'm gonna use this, and we're gonna go with let's see. We're going to go with this rendition. I like this one. It's not the typical comic cover, but it's one that I think it came from the first, I think it was the first #1. Because Todd did the Amazing Spider-Man, and then I guess Marvel was trying to keep him because he was leaving. This is before he joined Image or started Image. He did his own Spider-Man run, which was Spider-Man #1, and he, obviously it's one of the top most selling comics of all time, aside from X-Men. He says that he'll say it individual creator top comic, because the other one that surpassed Spider-Man #1 was obviously Jim Lee's X-Men #1. And Jim Lee was more, they seemed it more like a collaboration between Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. So, because Todd wrote the comic. He wrote and produced the comic, so it is a single creator. So, but here's a page. I believe this is in one of the first pages. But you can see the proportions are very dynamic. You can see that it has a lot of webbing. It's like all over the place. He actually has. He's not shooting the web. He's more so kind of like doing the what scene? Oh yes, you would know this, Harold. It was in, I think, and the end of the Spider-Man. I can't remember if it was Amazing Spider-Man #1 or no, it was #1. Yeah, the first one. Remember at the end where he's swinging at night with the moon in the background?
Yeah.
he does this sort of thing where he grabs both webs. He grabs the webs with both hands to help him climb, if you remember correctly. So this is similar to that. If you see that, that's very, very similar to what he did at the end of the movie. So let's go with this. So we're going to go with that. And then I already got prepared a background pick, which you guys saw. This is typically what I use is I use any kind of background pick I can find and kind of clean it up and, kind of make it nice and clean to use as a background. And this is perfect. I believe this, where did it go? Here it is. This is perfect for that. Would you think?
This, oh yeah, the angle and everything. Yeah, it looks good.
The angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to simulate that pose. So let's start off. I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you guys a different angle. Just want to give a shout out to the chat real quick. Pop Culture Relics, what's going on, brother? Luis, thanks for stopping by. And then my man, TJ Mike, aka King Churro. Mike, happy Friday. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks, man. I appreciate your support, brother. Thank you. So let's see here. I'm going to switch over because this is kind of like a technological nightmare trying to figure out how to switch over to the camera. Let me 1 second here.
You're a better man than me doing all that. So, hey.
Settings. Let's go with this. Because I actually have 2 cameras going on. Let's see. Can you see me in the background?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope. Not any. Oh, there we go.
All right. So I've already set up, and I know you're pretty good with. You're famously known for doing outdoor photography, and maybe next time we'll do an outdoor version, which is going to be even more kind of challenging. But have you ever? I don't know. I think it defeats the whole point going outdoors and doing a stream, right, Errol? Because if I'm correct, you do that to kind of help you relax, right?
Oh yeah. No, and I sometimes, as much as I love to do that, I wouldn't suggest it for anybody. Because it gets frustrating, and especially now in this time of year when it's hot and you're just trying to hurry and try to get back in before you sweat to death or whatever, and you got ants crawling all over stuff and whatever.
I totally understand. Yep. But I mean, it still helps you.
It produces.
It's relaxing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and it kind of just gives it a different style. And I've started to actually try to use like a monitor for a background too. I've done that in a few shots, so just definitely something I need to keep working on.
And it really, like, you kind of sort of lose a little bit of quality despite how big your screen is and how good. I think it's mainly because mainly of the ISO or just the type of settings you have in your camera. I'm still working and refining those settings, but Photoshop helps a lot. When I said it doesn't take over your photograph, but it kind of helps you enhance it. That's one of the things that helps. It kind of pops up the background a little better by separating the subject with the background, and you can adjust to that if you're choosing. But I have the figure here ready to go. I have this arm I use for cameras, for recording, for live streaming. So I, kind of use it also for, sort of this type of photography. I used it last time on the Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman where he was flying. It helps because it kind of gives you illusion you have nothing underneath. So it definitely, a lot of people, when they see action figures and they see them pose and they see like they're floating, they'll know, okay, typically their brain's trained to be, okay, it's on a crotch grabber and it's a pole and it's either plastic or something, or they'll go at the extra length of wrapping a little string out of the and hanging. You know how people display them in their detofs? That's one way too. There's another way that Calvin has seen firsthand is the optical illusion of it floating. On my display over here, I have certain figures that are tiered. And what I end up doing is they're tiered on risers. And what I end up doing is I use a pole one of those blendable poles that come with the figures, and I screw it into the riser. So when it's the figure in the front, it gives you the optical illusion that's floating because you don't see the pole because it's raised up from the back. It gives you the optical illusion that's pretty much floating. And it's something that a lot of collectors they could do. It's very possible to do that. You just gotta have something sturdy enough to hold the figure from the back, and definitely. Oh, did we lose Calvin? Looks like we lost Calvin. Let me add him real quick. There you are.
There he is.
Sorry. No, my wife called. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. So, we were talking about just the optical illusion of figures that you can display them that give you an idea that they're flying or jumping. And I told Harold that you can remember how I had the Superman displayed with the pole in the background, and it kind of gives you the optical illusion because the pole is kind of screwed towards the wall or towards the back. So, but anyways, we got the Spidey here. Now we really can't go with the proportions that we're talking about, the proportions of Todd, but there's you could sort of enhance it a little bit in Photoshop. There's a way you can kind of sort of manipulate the shapes and or the position of the articulation. So I already kind of worked on the pose, and it's similar to that, but I'm going to go ahead and remove these because this is not what he had.
Yeah, one thing that I'm going to actually try, I don't know if you follow Greg Cook Photography. I was going to say, I can send you a link to his stuff too. But he did years ago, it was like using PVC with different fittings to make basically a frame that's taller than what your screen would be. And then have like a couple of those and use fishing line tied off of that.
Okay.
And have that hanging down to hold the figure. And if you wanted, like a leg hanging up behind it or whatever swinging, you could use like multiple frames. Okay. And then have that string kind of holding it, or the fishing line holding it in place. And he did it like outside, which was obviously crazy because of the wind, but doing it inside, like with a setup like what you are doing right now, would be like perfect for that.
And that's another thing is forgive me while I'm digging through hands. It's funny this comic version doesn't come. It only came with one grappling hand, and it already has the webbing attached. So I'm trying to dig through like 40 different Spider-Man hands so I can find a good regular grappling hand that I can use for just to put the webbing around it.
And I'm a pretty positive hot toy collector, but I will say something as simple as hands, especially like in Troopers, like a lot of them don't have fists like that. That's something that I've wanted for different shots, and you just have to borrow them from something else, and hopefully like the color matches, or you just have to match it like in post.
That's very true. True. I'm realizing that they usually don't come with those type of hands because they come with a fist that has a hole, like a little tiny little hole that you kind of squeeze in.
The
webbing. So I found one. I'm just gotta find another one. It doesn't matter if it matches or not, but as long as I can, give that, because you're not used to seeing a Spider-Man. Typically, a Spider-Man, you'll see it, with one hand with the webbing on one hand and the other one shooting. So they don't think about giving you two pairs of hands that are holding a webbing. They don't think about that because not all people do that. But in this version, it does that, and I'm shocked that I can't find any of those hands. But let's just talk about what really your process, Harold, because I'm always interested in what you do. On typically when you go outside and kind of shoot outdoors. What kind of stuff do you do? What kind of equipment do you usually use? What helps you? What's a good tool to take with you?
The biggest thing is I have one of the Manfrotto tripods which gets the camera really as low to the ground as I possibly can, just to kind of give that illusion, a little bit more of that illusion of scale. And then usually, again, and really with any figure, whether it's 6 scale or 12 scale, and trying to shoot up at it to make it look a little bit more lifelike, that does help a little bit. Lighting is a big thing. I do use the atmosphere aerosol, and that helps kind of capture some of that light. And the one shot, like the sun rises on one side of our house in the morning, and I usually try to get my shots in that direction all the time. So, just getting those really nice like streaks of light through it and trying to capture that.
Typically, you do morning shots as opposed to evening shots.
Yeah, I usually do, and that's just more of a schedule thing than anything. And it's maybe on the weekends that I do more on the weekend. But that, and I just use really just the 2 sources of light, just the light from the sun and a reflector, and I'll just reflect it enough, whether it's the silver reflector or the white, like the inside of the reflector when you like zip that part off. And just to try to bounce some light back at the figure to front light it. And that's pretty much it. And I try to plan out my poses ahead of time. Again, just if it's hot or even cold in the wintertime, just trying to get that stuff out of the way before I'm trying to do it, outside.
I'm trying to get my man Calvin into photography. And Calvin, it's really relaxing. It's really relaxing, but also it kind of gives you the satisfaction towards the end when you come up with the shot. You do all that work and you get that shot that you're looking for, and share with a lot of people. And you see in all the communities, and whether it's Figure Flex Friday or on Instagram, everybody loves to see those cool shots because you have an admiration about we share that compassion about the action figures, the 1/6 scale world, and when you take a picture of it, it just takes the figure to the whole new level. And to me, Calvin, every time he's like, man, another one, I actually send him the pictures before to see if I get approval from him to see if it looks good or not. Right, Calvin? You're like,
yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I've always had admiration for photography and just individuals that have that eye. Like several things I can see, and I'd be like, now, if I had a camera, that'd be the shot right there. I took a course during college, and that got me further into it. But then we got to the digital world. So, like, I have a Canon Rebel T3i, and actually, I just cracked it out not too long ago because I thought I could start using it for our streams. Of course, it's not compatible with the programming now. So just the other day, I was looking at upgrading to get a new one and getting into it with you guys. But with all these damn 2 Batmobiles and several other things always popping up, I was like, let me not put myself into another hole right now and figure something else out. So
but just use your phone, man.
You guys, my question, like when it comes to the posts and editing that you guys do, like how much time? My thing is my scheduling. Like as you guys see, I'm in the office. I'm coming up on 14, 15 hours right now since I've got to work, and it's just my time. So when I get home, I'm ready to pass out half the damn time. So trying to get up and get out, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't going nowhere. So that's my question. Like, how much time are you guys putting into the photoshopping or the editing that you guys are doing, or posts as you guys use terminology?
Oh God, I mean, even
you can go ahead.
It's different.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I use it's the PIXArt app, and I can even like set I don't know if you've heard of that yet, or I could like show you what it is, Calvin. But like that app is it's very basic, very easy. I mean, I've never used Photoshop or Lightroom or anything like that. There's a lot of presets in it as far as giving like different color tones. And different things that you can add to it. There's a cloning tool, like, so if you're using a stand, like he's using now, like you can still edit that out and do that, and you can do it all right from your phone. So
you do what app do you use, Harold?
It's called PIXArt.
PIXArt? Okay.
Yeah, PIXArt. Yep.
You could have fooled me.
PIXArt. Okay, I thought you said. I heard Pixar apps. That's what I heard in my head. I'm thinking
You thought
Disney.
Disney, Pixar?
I was like, damn, they got that too. Shit.
Yeah, they got everything. Who knows?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, it's very simple to use. I mean, and actually now they have you can actually layer photos on it like Photoshop, and they do have, like, I guess there's like a gold version of it. I just use like the basic version, and you can edit your like brightness, shadows, contrast, sharpness, and things like that. Just very simple settings, and then you can go into some other advanced stuff if you want to.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I said, it's like you don't even have to pull the laptop out. You can just do it right from your phone.
your phone.
Okay.
See what I mean,
Yep.
Calvin? It's pretty easy. I mean, there's his shots speak for themselves. You see the shots and you're
Oh, they
like,
definitely do.
he fooled me. Like I thought he used Photoshop or at least some kind of app relevant to that, but because his images are just top notch, and I think
Thanks,
it's just
man.
the way your process is. It's just genius because you do, the way you do them in the morning, you get that perfect sunlight, and it's just the it just I every time I see one, it fools me thinking that I'm looking at an actual scene from a movie. So
Movie still,
Thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate
I,
that.
yeah,
I gotta give both of you guys that love because you guys be killing it.
thank you. But yeah, I
Yeah,
right now
those
I'm
like
gonna
Batmobile shots that you just did not too long ago. Those, yeah,
yeah.
those were nice. I love those.
Thank you. Yeah, I obviously the 1/6 scale ones. I love those things. They're amazing. But right now I'm going through a phase. I'm doing all comic covers, comic covers or just comic inspired. Ever since X-Men '97 came out, I've been sort of kind of going back into comics and when I was little, I was a big comic guy and I met Jim Lee, I met Tom McFarlane and Mark Silvestri and all those guys, even the old school guys, Neil Adams. It's like it's so great to kind of meet them because they have such amazing stories. But also, I love their art. Their art, it's like our new sort of a generational pop type of thing. And now it's gone to another dimension, which happens to be film and TV. So, what do you think, Harold? I don't know if you can see it from here. But let's go.
Oh yeah,
Let me take a picture. I don't think
yeah,
you can see it from here, but one of
yeah.
the
I mean,
things
I can tell kind of the angle of it. It looks good because you got that like right leg up pretty like nice and high. So yeah, once you get the
Yep.
angle of the camera, yep.
Yep. So I'm going to go and take a few test shots. So just for everybody that kind of is new to photography, obviously in the lighting, the camera, and you can take, you don't need to have an expensive camera. You can take pictures with an iPhone and still come up with great stuff. And, it's just basically the setup, the process you do. So I have basically the subject, the background, the lighting. Right now, I have my big light right here. Now I'm trying to simulate sunlight. So when it comes to simulating sunlight, you don't want to go to a small spotlight. You want to go with something really big and large. And this is why I have this type of, light, because it almost simulates sunlight because it spreads it everywhere and it's very soft. So I'm going to go a little bit brighter here because we're trying to go with sunlight and try to kind of imitate the daytime. Now, when the sun, I'm looking at the background picture right here. As you can see, let's look at the car right here. There's a yellow taxi. If you can see, the sun's coming from this direction and it's going down, and you can see the casting of the shadow in the vehicle. So that means the sun's coming from that direction, therefore I place my light source on this direction. Now, it's a city. And the one thing there's plenty of is reflections on the city. So this building over here could have, they have windows. Therefore, the sun's going to reflect. So other sources of light are very helpful. So here I got my two. These are, I think, those old school Hue lights. They're pretty cool. I've used them for anything from photography to, you can play music with them and stuff like that. But I'm going to use these, and I'm going to pretend these are windows, and they're reflecting the sunlight into Spidey. So that way the light kind of bounces off and hits them underneath as well. So let's try that and see how it looks.
And you can get like fairly inexpensive like LED panel lights
Oh
for
yeah.
anywhere from like 20 to $30 range on
Oh, yeah.
Amazon, and they're RGB, full color, white, pure white, warm white, so that you can get that and it can do everything for you.
And the most important thing is also the dimmer. If you have too much light, because there is such thing as too
True.
much light and too little light. So
Yep.
you can just play with it. So I'm feeling good about this light bouncing off Spidey. It looks really good, like it's kind of bouncing off of windows. I like the way the webbing is looking. That looks pretty badass. Let's see. I got my settings right now. I'm gonna. Now I'm not really good with the settings, but I'm kind of working my way up. I've had 10 years of photography experience, but you can ask me what f-stop did you use and what I can be like, I don't know. I just kind of worked it out. I know for a fact that when it comes to photography, always use manual. You could go with aperture mode or or any other mode, but always use manual. It gives you more flexibility. Stay away from automatic because it's just it limits the possibility of your picture. But I'm happy right now. I'm at an F. Let's see. Do I need more lighting? I don't think I need more lighting. Let me see. What do you think, Harold? Seeing from your angle, do you think I need more lighting? Maybe underneath?
No, I mean from this angle, I can see that it's brighter to your right, and like his underside looks lit up too. Because that's another thing too. Like I always would have a hard time in leaving too much shadow, because even though there's a shadow, there's still light. Like you said, there's light cast from somewhere else. But at least from what I can see on the screen, it looks pretty good.
Okay. So the best thing we're gonna do next is we're gonna just take a few test shots. Let's see what we can do here. So I got okay. I think I'm actually happy with this. This is pretty close to what I was looking for. Let me adjust the angle a little bit. All right, let's see here. This looks really good. Just take a couple of shots, and then all you do is just kind of, you can always come back to it and try again. But I think once you kind of see them and check them out and kind of get a feel how they look, and you're happy with it. But there's no right or wrong. You take 3 shots, you can take 20 shots. It's just depending on your preference. But I took a few shots, and we're going to be able to see them real quick. Let's see.
Yep, and your memory cards can hold a lot, so just keep taking photos. Just take as many,
right?
like you said, as many as you want, and that's the best thing to do.
All right, let's take a look here.
I miss those old days of taking film to get it developed.
Yeah,
It's
Calvin,
crazy.
when you took your photography, it wasn't digital, right? It was like the old school. Did we lose Calvin? Oh, he froze. Oh, there you are. I see you. Can you hear me, Calvin?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I was checking in.
No worries. Did you take did you do film photography when you did your classes, or was it digital photography?
It was digital.
Digital? Okay.
I believe I took a film class in high school, but yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah, it's insane. I think I did it as a cusp of it, kind of when DSLRs were coming in, and I think luckily I got a little bit of that experience. I mean, obviously, if I do it again, I probably forget how to develop a photo, but it's definitely a lost art, and it's definitely something that if you have a chance to do it. I would try and do it again. So we're going to open this with Lightroom. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Settings. And a lot of technical stuff. There we go. So, you got the previous one I just did. Did you see that Marvel Knights one?
I hadn't even seen that one yet. No.
I've had these custom figures from that I've kind of been secretly sort of building the Marvel Knights, or they're different names. There's different variations. There's Midnight Suns, Marvel Knights, and then what's the other one? There's another third one that I heard. But it's like all different iterations of it's basically all the. I think they're. I mean, by definition, I think they're all the level grounded heroes, right? Like the level, like not like super mysterious or like Thor or whatever. It's more grounded, like Daredevil, Spidey is a grounded hero. Low level grounded. Just those heroes. They're kind of just in the streets, pretty much. There you got Ghost Rider. You got Black Panther is a king. But anyways, it's I think this is a cool type of team. I mean, in some situations you have Wolverine as well. You have Blade. You got Moon Knight. You got Ghost Rider. But anyways, I did those guys, and I've been secretly kind of building a side team like that, and kind of like a sort of a Black Ops, Marvel, Avenger type of team. And I still left a few characters because once you kind of go beyond eight figures, then it gets a little too busy. But I didn't add. I know Black Widow is in the team. Elektra is in the team as well, but I don't have an electric figure. Maybe they'll give us a Jennifer Gardner version. But anyways, moving forward, can you guys see it? You see the shot?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So
Yeah, that looks amazing.
with Photoshop, basically, if I'm gonna right now, there is some tweaking with erasing some parts. So what I'm going to do is I don't usually go to Lightroom. I'm going to skip. You know what? No, let's go with Lightroom first. So I'm going to work on the background and everything. So let's go background. And it does its best to kind of pick the background, but you have to kind of take it, I think it's missing. There's some stuff in here that we want to take away. So we use a brush. And let's get that brush smaller and kind of get that part back here. I have a pen and a paper. I mean, like those digital pens, but usually
with a pad, right? Nice.
Yeah, it's there. To me, it's hard to kind of gauge. I feel more comfortable with the mouse, but if I really have fine detail stuff that I have to do, I'll use that pen, the digital pen. But I'm just kind of, taking away the parts that I missed. And looks like there's the foot right here, and I think part of this arm as well. But it's not completely cutting it out. It's just kind of guesstimating. But I think we're good for now. So now that we've done that, see how it's separated now. The background's in the red, and the actual subject is good. So now it's saying that all the red, we're going to go ahead and want to go too heavy on contrast because you have color correction towards the end that's going to help you with the contrast. So you want to kind of reduce the contrast. The highlights, don't go too crazy with the highlights because that's kind of glaring. You want to kind of sort of give you a little bit yourself under highlights because, again, the color correction is going to fix that at the end. Shadows, I think just kind of play engage on what you're looking for. The whites, that's good. And then don't go too far, because what I'm doing is right now I'm adjusting the background settings. So when I'm done with the whole picture, I'm gonna readjust them, including the subject and the background settings. So you don't want to go too far with the background, because then it's gonna look off at the end, because you're gonna go back anyways and readjust them. As long as you're happy with it and it's a little diluted, you should be fine. So here I'm good. I'm not gonna work on texture, clarity, or anything like that, because we're gonna do that towards the end. So now we're good. So now we can go back over here and say, okay, now I want to work on the whole entire image. So now that we have the entire image, we can go back to the exposure. It's daylight, so I'm going to go a little high contrast. Probably less highlights. And the best thing you can do right now with Spidey, because he has the most shiniest part of him is those lenses. He has the chrome lenses, and that kind of gauges to you on how much lighting and how, you see it, Harold? See in the eyes how you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, it's too much. If you go down, just if you see detail in the eyes, if you see a reflection, then that's pretty much looks pretty good. So right there, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, otherwise it gets like blown out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is good. Whites, same thing with highlights. Blacks, I'm going to go a little low. Okay. And you also don't want to lose the detail on the body. The tailoring, because it's literally good craftsmanship that they've done. I mean, it bends really well. There's stitching, and there's even the little spider webs in there. If you go too much, then you end up losing some of that detail. I like my stuff to pop a little bit, so I do go a little vibrant on it, a little bit high on the saturation, because we're simulating a comic book panel. So I'm gonna go. That's good. Now, there is here in the color mixer, you can choose different colors. Somebody asked me earlier today on how that Marvel Knights photograph. I had Daredevil he has the black suit, and he asked me, "Did you paint your Daredevil black?" And I said, "No. You can go on Photoshop. You can just go in there and select the section of the suit and grayscale it, and that's how I was able to get the black suit on him." It's the same suit. It just kind of selected certain panels, and I just made it, instead of red, I made it black. So there's, the color mixer can help you with that. So here I'm going to pick red. If I want to go brighter or darker, I can, and I can adjust it right or left, as you can see right here. But we'll leave it at that. Here is the color grading. This is where I said just kind of go easy on the settings above. This will help you enhance them from here. So this looks good. Okay, blending. And it's a lot of settings, but when you kind of get used to them and go over and over, you kind of know where to go and what to apply and what not to apply. So texture, I want a little texture to pop, but not too much. Clarity, dehaze, vignette. I'm a vignette guy, sorry. I sometimes go crazy with it.
And this is Calvin too. This is kind of like the stuff that he's going through. What that Pixar app does too is it has basically presets that are already kind of what he's doing in all these different sections, and then you can fade them in and out and kind of get them where you want without having to go necessarily through like each step that he's doing too. So it helps with that, with the time part of it.
Yeah. And I love, like I said, I love, you shoot in RAW, correct, Harold?
No, because with the, I don't even know what the resolution is.
JPEG?
But a JPEG, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
Well, I'm amazed today. You don't use Photoshop, you shoot in JPEG, and you come out with those amazing photographs. That's a perfect example of, you don't need all the bells and whistles to kind of come up with a good shot like that. So,
and I don't even know if the app, like if I can even use, I think I've shot in RAW before, but I don't think it doesn't work. It doesn't benefit it to in the app.
Got it.
basically.
No, you're right.
So
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, because
yeah,
it's so much information. Sometimes it tends to crash. I
right.
mean, even with Photoshop, I occasionally, once in a while, will crash if it's like a picture of a team or something large. Um, so for those that obviously watching, raw is basically pictures that take the greater scale of the details of the picture, and you can adjust to any liking. It's the largest file you can get, aside from, I think, one more thing, but most contemporary cameras, they take in JPEG, and that's like a scaled down version of photograph based on of a raw photograph that chooses settings for you already. So it says, I want this, this, and this. What I was doing earlier, I don't want this and this, and they'll choose it for you. Because not a lot of people want to do this for every photograph, right? I mean, Calvin, do you want to do this to every little photograph you take in your iPhone?
No.
No, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, no. I could just see Calvin taking a selfie and like, I gotta fix settings. No, so that's what JPEG files do for you. They do a like a standard setting for everybody to kind of give you just the ideal photograph.
But like you said about that, it's like a therapeutic thing for some people. Like for you, a lot of people like to get in and do all that stuff too. So yeah,
yeah,
yep.
I agree. So here we are. Let's check the chat real quick. Secret Defenders. Xmas Supreme gave me a hard time because I had Spider Monkey as the what's it called, the Marvel Knights. He's like, really, Spider Monkey? I'm like, it's Spider-Man. Come on, man. He's wearing like a sort of like a Black Ops suit. It's basically a spy suit. Brandon, thanks for joining us, buddy. I'm gonna skip the typing, but I'm gonna just kind of say hi to everybody here. Brandon, great guy, great photographer. Looking forward to meeting you, buddy. We're gonna meet him at Comic-Con San Diego, and it's gonna be a good time. Looking forward to that. X-Men Supreme, thanks for joining us, buddy. Secret Defenders, ? Yomo, how's fatherhood, brother? Poor guy. He's probably dealing with the sleeping schedule. Remember, just break up your sleep in many different hours. Just be flexible. I know it's tough, but you'll get through it, buddy. Trust me, I've been there. What else do we have here? Gio. Hey, Gio. Hello, collectors. About to get off work. 10 minutes. Happy Friday, Gio. Nice to get you getting off of work. Good guy. He's going to do figure talk on Sunday with my buddy Luis from Pop Culture Relics. Looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And then Calvin saying what's up to everybody. So thanks for joining us, guys. This is very experimental, so bear with me. This is my second time, and the last time I decided to do it with 25 figures, so I don't know what I was thinking. So I figured let's just go with one for now.
Push the limits. That's nice.
So here we are. We get the picture all kind of primed up in Photoshop. I'm just going to get rid of the I'm going to go here into the remove tool and get rid of all the stuff that we want to get rid of, which is the wires. And what it does is it's come a long way. Before we had to kind of play with it, but now it's doing a really good job making stuff kind of, replaced. So as you can see right here, I'm going to highlight the wire here that I want to get rid of. And it's going to basically get rid of it and hopefully substitute in a way a little bit of the foot, which it looks good, but not that good. Let's see. There we go. That's a little better. So we got rid of that wire. Now we're going to do this wire right here that connects with the waist. What do you think, Harold? This is your first time checking out Photoshop, right?
Yeah, and the closest thing that I have to that in the app is a clone stamp, which obviously you have to get it is, close to that area that you want to replicate. So yeah, to be able to just swipe away like that is pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing, yeah.
Yeah, that's
see, look at that.
That's crazy.
So in a way, it's easy, but it's also hard because you have to restrain yourself because a lot of people go nuts with this, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it's like, you know, kind of like Spidey, with great responsibility. What was it? With great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, no, you're right. Yeah, you definitely can push it too far, and things can look all out of whack too. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the best thing you can do is just be, you know, like my buddy Patrick, who I let's see, he's gonna be mad at me. Calvin, what's Patrick's channel or his Instagram? You know what I'm talking about, Patrick? He does the very he practical pictures.
Oh, I think he
Zord,
just
thank
muted
you.
himself.
Oh, okay, Zord
Oh,
photography.
Zord. Oh, Zord.
Yeah,
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 yeah, I
sorry,
know him.
yeah.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of practicality, which that's his goal, just to reduce as much Photoshop, which I can appreciate and admire, because, you know, so he balances all his figures without any, you know, minimal, close to no or minimal tweaking. And you know, I'm not really happy with this. Let's see. Let's go back, because
Yeah,
it's
usually even like propping up my figures, I use a lot of times the like wooden skewers for like grilling, and
mhm,
I stick those into the ground and just lean them up against that. So if anything even gets missed, it kind of blends into the background if possible.
right,
If not, then it just gets clone stamped out.
right, exactly. So it's but yeah, I mean, sometimes it like here you're kind of wondering like what's going on here. Does he have an armpit, or let's see. We'll keep it at that. Okay. No, but see, it's part of that building right there. Okay, that's better. Much better. Okay, we're good. Um, let's get rid of these slightly lines on the foot. So basically, there we go. There we go. We're, oh, let me get rid of this over here.
Yeah, just that arm that you had that holding that, the fact that that
Yep,
just is gone. That's pretty cool.
there we go. I don't know what's going on here. I think let's try it again here. That's a little better. So there you go. That's pretty much it. That's my process.
Very cool.
You know, um, you can add, special things like, lens flares, any kind of filter to kind of help you. But basically, that's what it is. And I'm a good believer of practical effects. So because if I was actually, you know what I was going to do? I was actually going to draw the web. I was actually going to draw the web, and I was going to copy and paste it like a Photoshop type of thing. And I realized
Hmm.
that right now I'm a little rusty on drawing, because I do art. I was a major of fine arts, and I do paint. I did a lot of comic art, stuff like that when I was growing up. But I'm trying to get back into it, and I'm still a little rusty and overall a little shy still. So I was like,
Well, I'd love to talk to you about that too, because that's something that I used to do too. So yeah, very cool.
really nice. What was your favorite comic book growing up, or what was your inspiration for drawing?
Oh God. Actually, I love it. It wasn't even really that. It was more military. My both of my brothers were in the Navy.
Uh huh.
Like back in the like late '70s, early '80s. So I loved to draw. I loved aviation, and I loved like World War II aviation, but just anything to do with like planes and stuff like that. I
Oh,
used to love that. Yeah.
okay, cool. But
Yeah.
now
See,
you're
just
not a
like
fan
wiping
of.
out those seams is like pretty. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Wow.
it's come a long way, because I used to use this a lot, and and there's a lot of new stuff that it's aided by AI, and it does help. But like I said, just use it responsibly. With
Right.
great power again comes great responsibility.
For sure.
Yeah, kids will definitely immediately change your life. Well, they're having a fatherhood. Fatherhood is pretty good and tiring so far. I know. Trust me. Any kids, Harold?
Yes, I got 19 and almost 17-year
Oh
old.
wow.
So yeah. So but yeah, what you're saying, it's cool because it's like they're your babies, and you take care of them, and then they grow up to be your friends, and that's the best part. So
Nice.
that's what I would say. My son's a collector. Um, so we have that, together, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Does he do Star Wars or is it something else?
Nintendo, like Super Mario, like the World of Nintendo line, and like Pokemon,
Okay,
all
cool.
those figures. Yeah,
I got a 3-year-old going on 4 and a 5-year-old going on 6. So at
nice,
least right now his favorite character happens to be Spidey.
nice.
So he's excited to see this. He's right now hanging on his mom, but so let's see. Let's do no. Let's go.
I
Let's go
really
with
like the
Iron Man.
color of his suit too. The way that you got it, it pops like that panel, like you're saying too, like that art.
Mhm.
It looks really good. I like that.
It does look good. Yeah, nothing against the Toby and Garfield and Tom, but they are the go to right now because it's popular. But for us, comics were the thing back in the day. Like I said, I've always dreamed of seeing a Spider-Man movie, and we got probably 10 or 12 Spider-Man movies now. 20 years later, it's insane because
Right.
back in the day it was all comics, and the technology wasn't there. The CG technology, I mean, that's where it all started with Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, because in the first scene where he's jumping off when he's got this his brand new suit or his beginner suit, when
Hmm.
he climbs up the wall, that was all CG. And then when he jumps into the top of that building and the camera pans on the side, all CG. And you can see his face while they do that. Well, they inserted his face into that CG model. But with the lighting and the conditions, I mean, it fooled me. I thought it was real. So they did a really good job with that. And it's just the illusion. If it would have been probably daylight, it probably would have been a little cheesy. But making it at night, that was a good idea for Sam Raimi to do that.
Yep.
So let's add my man. How do you? Let me see if I can copy and paste it. Well, just put. How do you do it? It's how do you spell it? It's Commander. Like the
Commander, and then underscore, or no, wait,
underscore.
wow, I don't even know what I'm. Hold on, let me just say no, it's yeah, Commander, then green, GRE underscore N.
GRE underscore EN,
uh
like that.
EE, no, EE, and then underscore.
Underscore N.
N, yep, underscore
Okay.
N.
Well, I have it here in my face. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Let's do a capital C though. Yeah, I have an iPad here next to me, so I'm looking at the chat. Looks epic, like Commander Green. Texas Boy, hey, what's up, Texas Boy 210? Thanks for stopping by. Yo, what's up, collectors? Yeah, thanks. I wanted to make a quick session, guys, because we got Figure Flex Friday. Definitely love that because have a lot of collaborators coming in there. Unfortunately, I missed the boat on this one. I can't submit it, but I'll submit it just to see if Luminara catches it. But other than that, it's always next week. But at least we have.
They usually go through them by the end of the show, though. They'll go back to the beginning
Oh yeah.
and
Okay.
look.
Cool.
If you post something now, like if you post after they start, they'll
Mhm.
they'll go back and look and see if anybody submitted anything for the night.
Oh, okay. So I'll do that then.
Most of the time they do that.
But we got the gist of it here. Thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. This is fun. I mean, I know you're more of a hands-on kind of guy. You're all you're
Oh
doing is
no,
just chilling there.
I
But
love seeing the process, man. It's awesome.
thank you. Yeah, we definitely should meet up again, maybe do a more of a less chaotic stream. But let's see if I can switch over. Yeah, this
I
is.
got to hang out with Calvin this time too, so
I
that's
know.
all good.
Yep. So, but Kelvin, you got anything to add?
No, I'm just sitting there trying to soak up the knowledge, and see what it is that you guys do from behind the scenes.
And I'm always, I'm always happy to share because I mean that's the one thing. It's funny. I posted that pic of Christopher Reeves, and Mark Lee adds up two more pics of Christopher Reeves, and I'm like, hell yeah! I'm glad I inspired others to kind of jump in and do it too, because that's what it's all about. It's not about who copies who or whatever. It's more about inspiring others, and they can go do their own thing. And his pictures look sick. I mean, they look amazing. He did one with the heat vision, and the other one was I think he was flying or next to I think it was the aura of the Earth, and he's like in space or something like that. But he did a really good job. But it's always good to kind of inspire others and going in and showing my stuff and people getting motivated and say, hey, I want to do that. Or even Late Bloomer, shout out to Late Bloomer. He's a big Spidey fan. He's working right now, but he couldn't make it. But I was telling him we're gonna do a Spidey show. He's like, damn, I'm gonna miss it. But
Oh man,
he's a big Spider-Man fan, and I think I was doing certain pictures, and he's like, oh, I'm inspiring him to do a lot of things. And one of the things I told him, not a lot of people have this, but I have the original Hot Toys Tobey Maguire suit, just the suit. Yeah, I know. What I end up doing it, I know. I tend to destroy my figures a lot, and a lot of people frown upon this, but for me, it's like, hey, are my figures? I can, do stuff. So, but what I ended up doing is I was trying to get a seamless silicone body for it, and unfortunately, it didn't really fit. So, I kind of set the suit aside and didn't think of it until recently. And Nate Bloomer was saying that he wanted to do sort of a comic inspired Spidey, and you know which one I'm talking about? It's the one where he has his suit laying on the trash can, and you have Peter Parker walking away.
Right. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I told him, yeah. So he wants to do that. So I told him, my man, it's your idea. I'll send you the suit so you can take a picture, do your thing, and just send it back to me because we live not too far from each other. So
Nice.
So I told him, I say, hey, I'm always here to inspire others and share my knowledge. It's always good because that's what it's all about. I'm at that age where it's like, it's good. It's a good feeling to help others and kind of enjoy and sharing our passions that we all have. So thanks for sharing your passion, Harold. Thank you for
Absolutely.
coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.
Calvin, as always, it's always fun. I appreciate you coming during your work day.
I appreciate you guys giving me something to keep me occupied and keep me up because I was dragging there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, for you guys watching, obviously subscribe. Harold, are you doing anything on YouTube? Or, I know you have a channel, but you don't have any content, right? Are you looking?
No content. No, eventually I would like to do like some like behind the scenes stuff and whatever, but just IG right now.
Okay. Well, I'll add in the description below. I'll add your Instagram, so people please follow Harold Commander Green on Instagram. He's got beautiful work. And for myself, if you're new to the channel, obviously subscribe, like, and enjoy my content. That's what it's here for you guys to enjoy and kind of get inspired. Calvin, my man, I know soon we're going to be doing a collector tour of your beautiful collection. So Harold, my man, Calvin and I live pretty close. My buddy, Pop Culture Relics, which is Luis, also has a good Star Wars collection, Hot Toys collection. I'm gonna go film his. And I think did you see the one that I filmed for Mario?
For Mario, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So we're all lucky me. We most of you guys are near me. I'm like, I keep telling. I told Calvin, I said, man, I'm just gonna do Mario and that's it. And they're like, wait, I'll do Calvin's too. Like, oh, okay, I'll do Luis's too. So now, now I think Jose, shout out to Jose Plus, he's like, you do mine too. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, because Jose is close, so I'll do his.
No,
Anything
Mario's
I
was
can.
awesome. I told him, I said, yeah, I'd pay to come over and like walk through that setup. It's nice.
He's moving right now, but I
Yeah,
can't wait
that's
to.
true. Yeah.
He wanted to do the tour before he moved, so that means I'm gonna probably have to redo it when he moves to his new place. So, but shout out to Mario Dart Profi. Moving a collection, it's not fun.
Man,
Not
Couldn't
fun.
even imagine.
I did that. I recently moved. I think I've been here for 3 years, and I did that with 250 figures.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. I had a U-Haul separate from my collection, and a U-Haul for my furniture. I kid you not. I kid you not.
I did the same, so I can't judge.
It's stressful. I told my wife, never again, never again. But anyways, thanks guys. I appreciate you. I'll post the link on the description below to Harold's Instagram, and then also a link to the picture we're gonna post, so you guys can check it out, and hopefully we motivate you guys to be a better photographer and be happy collecting and happy crafting, I guess. Thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take care.